Rexall plays Edmonton, Alberta game.
Lightning broadcast and Sun Sports is presented by your Tampa Bay area BMW Center.
82 volume level.
Let's take a look at tonight's starting goaltender delivered by Papa John's. As you see, Ben Scrivens gives a nod for the Oilers. His one-loss record. And Ben Bishop back in the nets for the Lightning. John Cooper behind the bench for the Lightning in his third year with the Lightning. Second full season. And the new coach for Edmonton. You see there, Todd Nelson, who's only coached in 13 games. He went 3-2-1 in the first 6 and has lost the last 2.
Rob Martell works this game along with Kevin Pollak. They're the referees. Tony Siricola, Tim Nowak are the linesmen. And Tyler Johnson gets the start as the triplets reunited after one game absence as Johnson left the game in Philadelphia on Monday. Missed the game in Boston on Tuesday, and now he's back Thursday, earlier than expected, and he's centering Nikita Kucherov and Andre Palat as usual. Johnson with the puck, sliding it behind the net. Jeff Petrie steps away from Palat. And the Oilers try to move it out. The pass was off Matt Hendrick's skate, comes back to the corner. Petrie colliding there with Palat. It's centered in front, and the shot is just sent wide by Johnson as Kucherov found it. Hendricks. Roman trying to keep it into the point. It's slipped behind him. He'll just dump it in. Lightning will change. Andrew Ferentz, captain of this team. He is an Edmonton native. Joined them last year coming from the Bruins. Matt Carl playing it around to Andre Schuster. Ahead on right wing to Ryan Callahan. Now with Terry Filppula ducking into that zone. He's caught up to by Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Cedric Paquette works against Nikita Nikitin. Callahan points in 3 straight, goals in 2 straight. And he scored in both Philly and Boston, keeping the pressure on in that Edmonton zone. And Callahan, now to Paquette is stolen. The puck just got away from Filppula, right out in front. Good work, persistent work by Callahan, who's still working in that Edmonton zone. Taylor Hall swings in. Checked there by Schuster. Puck is left, and Callahan retrieves it.
I'll tell you what, a much better start than the 2 starts they had in Philly and Boston.
Errant pass will result in an icing called against Tampa Bay.
I'll tell you, the Lightning had a couple of chances right here. This one was a shoveled shot by Paquette that hit the defenseman, but it came right over to a Lightning player who just missed it on the puck with the bouncing there, couldn't get it on the stick and get a full shot away.
Matt Carl behind the Lightning net, working with Schuster. Victor Hedman remains out. And still... Errant pass will result in an icing call against Tampa Bay.
St. Louis.
Bill George.
I'll tell you, the Lightning had a couple of chances right here. This one was a shoveled shot by Paquette that hit the defenseman, but it came right over to a Lightning player who just missed it.
Got Cassian Colt Parayko. Boom. There's a couple of big boys going into the corner. Colt Parayko with his size comes out with the puck.
Alex Steen having a tough night in the faceoff circle.
Right here. This one is
He is 0 for 11 right now.
Swings in. Checked there by Schuster. Puck is left, and Callahan retrieves it.
I'll tell you what, a much better start than the 2
And an icing call
in Philly and Boston.
He scores!
Shoveled shot by Paquette that hit the defenseman, but that came right over to a Lightning player who just missed it on the puck with the bounce. I'll tell you, the Lightning had a couple of chances right here. This one was a shoveled shot by Paquette that hit the defenseman, but it came right over to a A lightning shot by Paquette that hit the defenseman, but it came right over to a Lightning player who just missed it on and hit a couple of chances right here. This one determined to get a full shot away.
Against Tampa Bay.
Shot by Paquette that hit the defenseman, but it came right over to
game against the Flyers on Monday night. From the point, Oscar Klefbom working there with Justin Schultz, and his shot is deflected out of play by Alex Galore.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's keys, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. And intensity, start with intensity and continue it through the game. And we've seen that so far. Key thing, too, is that third forward high in the offensive zone. That's where the Lightning strong deep. Well, let's take a look at tonight's keys, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. And intensity, start with intensity and continue it through the game. And we've seen that so far. Key thing, too, is that third forward high in the offensive zone. That's where the Lightning strong defense kind of generates from, is that offensive zone.
Schultz, and his shot is deflected out of play.
Picked up the face-off goal. Leon Draisaitl, he was 5-4 that first
Let's
period.
take a look at tonight's keys, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. And intensity, start with intensity and continue it through the game. And we've seen that so far. Key thing, too, is that third forward high in the offensive zone. That's where the Lightning strong defense kind of generates from, is that offensive zone. That forwards up there, they can play a lot in the other teams.
Leon in the dot.
Southern Ford dealers and intensity, start with intensity and continue it through the game. And we've seen that so far.
Competition against each other, one of the great things to put these types of athletes up against each other.
Intensity, start with intensity and continue it through
You've got two guys who could sweep the ball.
intensity, start with intensity and continue it through the game. And we've seen that so far. Key thing, too, is that third forward high in the offensive zone. That's where the Lightning strong defense kind of generates from, is that offensive zone. That forwards up there, they can play a lot in the other team's zone, and they also have that back checker as well if they do get out.
Steve out for long, goal number 26, which going into this game, Nash and Tyler Seguin shared the goal-scoring lead in the NHL at 26. Stamkos right there, 26 as the play whistle down offside. 7:10, the time of the goal. And this game, Steven Stamkos opens this game on right wing with Vlad Nemestikov at center. Nemestikov called up with the injury to Johnson and played against the Bruins on Tuesday. Stamkos on right wing, racing in there. And Klefbom got back for the icing call by the linesman. Look at Steven, who scored goals in 3 straight games. Now 4 of his last 5. He has scored goals now up to 25.
And 2 of those goals, 5 goals rather, have been game winners. So you see that. He gets hot, boy. He can carry a team for a long time.
Anton Lander opposing Nemestikov. Anton Lander opposing Nemestikov. The Bruins on Tuesday. Stamkos on right wing, racing in there, and Klefbom got back for the icing call by the linesman.
When you talk to Eric Driva, he knows exactly what he's supposed to do and how he's supposed to play to be effective for his teammates, the Edmonton Oilers. He's got to come across, he's got to use his big body, he's got to be physical. And when he's physical, he is very effective. People all of a sudden will, wingers especially, get their head up when they know that Eric Driva is on the ice.
They're going against each other in the American Hockey League. Lander led their Oklahoma City Barons team in scoring last year. They held up to the injury to Johnson and played against the Bruins on Tuesday.
And there's an offside against Celtic. I think the importance here for the Edmonton Oilers is a much better defensive play. You mentioned the Calgary Flames problems, 30th in the year last year, but the Edmonton Oilers were 27th. And this is a team that needs to be a much better defensive team. And Jim, I think Cam Talbot in goal for the Oilers has got to be a guy who gets off to a great start. It was not a good October, November for him last year, and he's going to have to be much more solid in the Oilers net.
By the end of November, these teams were 13th and 14th in the Western Conference. That can't happen again because you can't catch up when you get that far behind in the NHL.
He stayed with it. Stamkos curling it down to Nemestikov. Stepping up, Mark Barberio on Bishop, and Bishop hanging on as the penalty to Nemestikov for the trip is expired.
Well, they did a pretty good job of limiting the shots on goal. I think that last shot on goal might have come just as the penalty was about to expire, but other than that, that was the only chance they really had on net.
Nemestikov wins the face. Nemestikov called up with the injury to Johnson and played against the Bruins on Tuesday.
Stamkos on right wing. Hear what's going on in the ice. There was a whistle there for an offside call.
Well, Maroon just finds himself in front and does a good job of trying to be a screen. I don't think he was even trying to tip it necessarily. There's the read in the middle of the ice, a quick turnaround. And for Brian Elliott, you can see he saw that right into him. He looks up skyward, you can't believe it. And what a moment for Maroon. Go down in history as the first Oiler goal scorer in this building.
4 minutes, 21 seconds, 1 hour, 37 minutes.
Fourth line shift here for Edmonton. Mark Letestu plays on the fourth.
Nemestikov called up with the injury to Johnson and played against the Bruins on Tuesday. Stamkos on right wing, racing in there, and Klefbom got back for the icing call by the linesman. Look at Steven, who scored goals in 3 straight games. Now 4 of his last 5. He has scored goals now up to 25.
And 2 of those goals, 5 goals rather, have been game winners. So you see that. He gets hot, boy. He can carry a team for a long time.
Anton Lander opposing Nemestikov in this face-off.
5 minutes, 29 seconds, 5 minutes, 40 seconds of 1 hour. 5 minutes, 31 seconds of 1 hour. 5 minutes, 32 seconds of 1 hour.
Tyler Seguin deal from the Dallas Stars. Brett Conley winds it up. Gets the center, and he'll push it in. Ribbons out to handle it. Edmonton coming off a 4-2 loss in St. Louis, one where a lot of
work quite yet, and there's an icing call.
Yeah, this is going back to the mid-'80s as well between Edmonton and Calgary. You got one star at one end that's getting a lot of the attention, so what does the guy on the other side do? This is Johnny Gaudreau. You're trying to make something out of nothing. He's got such an ability to put the puck into a safe area. Another common thread, keeping the legs moving and making something happen. 3 great moves that created a scoring chance out of basically no chance.
Next 4 minutes, 24 seconds. 5 minutes, 24 seconds. 5 minutes, 54 seconds. 1 hour. 5 minutes, 24 seconds. 1 hour. 5 minutes, 54 seconds.
And McDavid.
St. Louis, one where a lot of Edmonton observers felt that Scrivens helped to keep that score close.
Yeah, there was a 4-2 loss. Doesn't sound real bad, but I guess if it wasn't for him, it could have been an 8-2 game easily.
Eden Nesterov blocked that pass. Brian Boyle with a puck. Going to play it out of the zone, and the second try gets it to center. He is flanked tonight by J.T. Brown and Conley. As Brendan Morrow, a healthy scratch for this game. He's on the sidelines with Jonathan Drouin. And joining, of course, Victor Hedman and Radko Gudas, who had the knee surgery. Carl, rink wide pass behind Filppula. Taken by Klefbom. Ahead for Jordan Eberle. He roams through center and shoots it. A save by Bishop. He had a clean look at the Lightning goaltender there. Callahan got it free from the corner. Played ahead now for Filppula. He'll shoot it in and hit the linesman Nowak, and the Oilers clear. Pass ahead to Paquette. Klefbom, the Swedish-born youngster. He was taken in the first round of 2011 with a 19th overall pick. Here's Callahan walking in. His pass knocked down by Klefbom. Mark Fane, the former Devil defenseman, starts it out.
Yeah, Klefbom is one of their 2 first-round draft picks they had that year in 2011. Nugent Hopkins went earlier in the draft, and then Klefbom came after.
Offside whistle blows as Nikita Nikitin let that shot go.
Let's take a look at tonight's GMC big matchup, and you see the 3 high-scoring players, and on one line is Hall, Nugent Hopkins, and Eberle. And you see what they've done against the Lightning. Hall, the big goal scorer, with 4. They played to one another very often. This balanced schedule, you'll see him more and more.
And Pouliot, former Lightning forward, held up at that line. Late whistle there with Sericolo on the call, and Bishop has to take another shot as the whistle blows as we look at Neil Yakupov, another first overall pick from 2012. Nugent Hopkins went in 2011 and Hall in 2010.
If you take a look at their draft pick, all the draft picks that are playing for them are those first rounders. 6 of them, but outside of that, Rick, they only have 2 other players from their draft class, both second rounders, and nobody else. They're all trades, free agents. But they're drafting outside of that first round. He's not going to be very productive.
Well, the 2 second rounders you were talking about just handled the puck. Petrie and Anton Lander as Stamkos leaving it for Jason Garrison, shovels it out. It's taken by Fraser. He'll hoist it back in. Barberio pressured by Lander. Played around to Stamkos, pressured now by Ferentz. Garrison looks at the other side. He'll send it off Nemesnikov's stick. Petrie holding it in. And Garrison with it.
I'll tell you, Lightning have not really crisp in their own zone there. They've got to be a little bit better there. Now they're going to go shorthanded.
Tripping indicated by Rob Martel against the Lightning. First power play to Edmonton with no score.
Teddy Purcell and the Oilers set to go on the power play. Curious note, isn't it, to see Teddy Purcell in that Oilers sweater for 4 seasons, a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning, a popular and productive player here who's enjoying his return. Yesterday he had lunch with his former teammate in Steven Stamkos and then went over to visit with Brian Boyle and his wife. Brian actually rents Teddy's house here on the Bay. And last night, Rick and Chief, Coach Todd Nelson hosted all the Oilers for a team dinner. Teddy said they really burned up his credit card, had a great time, but he's glad to be back here in town and becoming a reappointment.
Forward held up at that line. Late whistle there with Sericolo on the call, and
so we've got a
Bishop
whistle.
has to take another shot as the whistle blows as we look at Neil Yakupov, another first overall pick from 2012. Nugent Hopkins went in 2011 and Hall in
plays coaches and
2010.
management that he deserves to stay in the
Whistle
National
blows as
Hockey
we
League.
look
He is a
at
rough
Neil
and tough
Yakupov,
kid.
another first
Remember, he got
overall
that
pick from 2012. Nugent
all
Hopkins
of a
went in
sudden, Arizona is
2011
becoming
and
a
Hall in
hotbed for
2010.
producing high-end hockey players.
It's been over 24 years since his dad Keith played his first game. That home for him.
I think maybe he was just checking on the condition of the house on Brian Boyle rather than saying hello.
Well, Boyle and Purcell playing together in their early professional years in Manchester, the American League. They were both members of the LA Kings organization at that time as the Oilers on the power play. And the puck played away by Anton Stralman. 14% of the season for Edmonton. That's not... Keaton let that shot go.
One of the reasons that the Edmonton Oilers liked Chris Russell,
Let's take a look at
brought
tonight's
him in
GMC.
free agent signings because he does stuff like this. He is a terrific puck retrieval defenseman. Gets his head turned before he even gets the puck. He knows where he wants to go. Makes a quick turn, escapes 2 forecheckers, and bang, the Oilers are out of their zone. Something they desperately need is defensemen who can get the puck going.
Two assists in that game on Wednesday.
Nugent Hopkins and Eberle.
Yoki Baka, rich shot, glove save. It's his first goal of the season. It's
As Keaton let that shot go.
Let's take a look at tonight's GMC big matchup, and you see the 3 highest scoring players and on one line is Hall, Nugent Hopkins, and Eberle. And you see what they've done against the Lightning. Hall, the big goal scorer with 4. They played
And Pouliot, former Lightning forward, held up at that line. Late whistle there with Sericolo on the call, and Bishop has to take another shot as the whistle blows as we look at Neil Yakupov, another first overall pick from 2012. Nugent Hopkins went in 2011 and Hall in 2010.
If you take a look at their draft pick, all the draft picks that are playing for them are those first rounders. 6 of them, but then outside of that, Lightning have not.
Lightning in the last 7 games, so they picked up the pace of it there. Lightning on the kill at an even 81%. 16th best. From the point, play held in by Justin Schultz. Now to Eberle. Schultz sends it back around to Hall, and the slot backhander is off the side of the goal, or the outside of the post by Nugent Hopkins. As Roy down
Goal against
low,
Edmonton.
saved by
Well, you
Bishop.
mentioned all the
Bishop
emotion,
hanging
man. I think
on
for the Calgary
as the
Flames
penalty
coming up to this new
Nemestikov
building, the
for
excitement
the
of
trip
having
is
Johnny
expired.
Gaudreau back in the lineup with the new deal is going to give them energy. And we saw Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky skating around the rink. And I think the natural passing of the torch is the new captain, Connor McDavid. No question who the star is here. And what an opportunity to build his own legacy in this amazing new building.
Lots of new things tonight. First game from Matthew
With Justin Schultz, and his shot is deflected out of play.
Green, I don't think he was even trying to tip it necessarily. There's the read in the middle of the ice, a quick turnaround, and for Brian Elliott, you can see he saw that right into him. He looks up skyward, can't believe it. And what a moment for Maroon, go down in history as the first Oiler goal scorer in this building.
Strong defense generates from his
fourth line shift here for Edmonton. Mark Letestu plays on the fourth line. Zach Cassian's out there, fourth line out for Calgary as well, centered by Matt Stajan.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what, it was a dangerous shot. It wasn't a real hard one, but it got through about 3 bodies, and Ben had trouble grabbing it off the stick.
Derek Roy. He's an acquisition in late December from the Nashville Predators for Mark Arcabello, who now is a member of the Penguins, picked up off waivers from the Preds. Is on this power play, number 8, the veteran centerman. He reached the 700 game plateau in St. Louis in their last outing on Tuesday. Here comes Petrie. Purcell starts the play in for Edmonton, playing it out of Yakupov with a shot. And he sends that one wide. Played back out to the point. Petrie with it. Watched closely by Tyler Johnson. And Teddy Purcell closing in. The pass across to Nail Yakupov. As Roy down low, he'll shoot. Saved by Bishop. And Bishop hanging on as the penalty to Nemestikov for the trip is expired.
Well, they did a pretty good job of limiting the shots on goal. I think that last shot on goal might have come just as the penalty was about to expire, but other than that, that was the only chance they really had on net.
And Ben Lahulia. Nicky Nikita and Mark Payne are out against the STL line. That includes.
I'm Pierre Polyev. My common sense plan will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime.
Nemestikov wins the face-off. Strawman getting it up the boards to Killorn. Stamkos on the move. And the Oiler defense right there to try to hold him up at the line, but they were unable to. Played out by Fane to center. Strawman has it. Making a couple of good early shifts in that Edmonton zone, and perhaps the biggest bugaboo for the Oilers this year has been their inability to get out of that zone. Here's the shot by Stamkos, tipped wide by Boyd Gordon. Talk about milestone games. This is number 600 for him. Lightning working it back. Garrison a quick release, and it deflected off Hendricks and off to the corner. Stamkos circles with it, hands it to Nemestikov. Lord takes a turn, circles in front. Two Oilers drawn to him. And he's taken down by Nikitin, the former St. Louis Blue and Columbus Blue Jacket defenseman. Fired ahead and down the ice. We'll get an icing called against Edmonton. The Back in Black 4-game plan presented by Chase scores you any 4 Saturday home games. And a free Ryan Callahan Reebok official player t-shirt. Call 813-301-6600 or visit TampaBayLightning.com.
Yeah, they did have some good energy, some good zone time, but you have to pick up an official shot on goal, and we played just over.
TampaBayLightning.com. 160 in Black 4-game plan presented by Chase.com. Klinkhammer playing that puck ahead for Hendricks. Was that ever a relief for Ben Scrivens, who soon after he came to the Oilers fashioned a 5th goal against Edmonton.
Wow, for both goaltenders, we mentioned the importance of them getting off to good starts. Elliott lets his first in, and for Cam Talbot, the very same. It's just a simple dump in there. The puck is loose. A heads-up play by Chesson, though, coming from behind, how quickly he gets one chance at it and quickly jumps on the rebound. I don't think the reaction by Talbot, Jim, was one that he knew where that rebound went to. And in a split second, he opened the 5-hole and credit.
59 save shutout of
14 minutes. 14 minutes, 8 seconds.
Set a new NHL record for most saves in a regulation shutout. Paul noted he was acquired a year ago today from LA for a third-round pick. John Cooper knows him. He was the goalie for the Toronto Marlies against the Norfolk Admirals the year the Admirals won the Calder Cup. Kucherov back in front, block, shooting stop, and Scrivens covering the puck, getting a whistle now with Johnson foraging around there looking for a loose one.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to give them a shot, Rick. If that's the case, it's about 9:45 that they got their first shot on goal tonight. But they've done a good job, and we've seen this line before. They pick the pocket of the opposition right at their blue line, meaning Edmonton now, and just as they were getting to their blue line and making a rush, and the defense likes to go. They love to join the rush. You pick their pocket, you can really get an odd man situation going back the other way.
Lightning win the draw. Barberio the backhand try, and it's deflected by Roy in behind his own net. And the Oilers next to control it. Now you heard Alex Killorn talk about on the end of Lightning Live pregame with Paul and Dave about that trying to get chances all day long. But John Cooper said this morning, last time we played these guys, he's dumped by him at that game. Yakupov knocks it down with a high stick. Ooh, the Lightning did touch it, and we continue. Ferentz lugs it ahead. Petrie with him. Michigan State product. He'll fire it off a stick, and indeed, Bishop out to play it. Lines it back to Strawman. Pouliot on the scene. Got it free to Yakupov out in front looking for Roy, and that was taken away by Barberio. Filppula. Callahan puts on a burst, beats the check, fires it on goal, a save there by Scrivens. Callahan back to the point. Barberio's there, loads up, wrist shot knocked down. Scrivens a save there in front of Paquette. Nesterov, he'll wrist it. That's off an Oilers stick. Petrie grabs it. Eric Roy starts it ahead. He'll dump it in, and Edmonton will complete a change. Nesterov picking up his first NHL point in the game in Boston on Tuesday. Well, Chivy's been pretty steady. He's either been a plus or even each one of his 4 games.
Yeah, and he's playing just around 14 minutes, a little over. So it's a good sign for the young man.
Left bump. Lost the puck. And it's played by Nesterov back to him. Lander steps away with it. He's got Fraser in the left, back to Lander. Sends it back across. Schultz overskates the puck, backhanded it on Bishop. He made a save, Purcell to try, and Garrison got a leg on that. Anton Lander fires in front, but it's off Fraser's stick. Killorn rifles it out off the open boards. No icing, both teams change. Lightning have been outshot 3-0. Now they've got 5 shots, and Edmonton 5 as well as we hit the 8-minute mark remaining in the first period. Taylor Hall steps in, he shoots, and it's blocked. Schuster operates against Everly. Boyle popped it free to Conley, who's playing the off wing. Carl up the boards by Brown, slips behind a Keaton, worked free by Boyle. He nearly sent Conley on his way. Mark Fane playing it ahead. Now Nugent Hopkins racing in, trying to feed it back across. A save by Bishop. I believe that hit Carl, and then the Lightning goaltender.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, really be careful of turnovers. That's what hurt them in the game up in Edmonton, what Cooper was talking about, was turnovers at the blue line.
Schuster starts it ahead for the Lightning. Back to Andre Palat. Down that wing, he shoots it. He sends it wide of Scrivens. Down goes Kucherov. He's tripped up there. Both refs with the arms in the air, and Matt Hendricks will head to the box with 7:04 to go in this first period, and the Lightning will look to get on the board with the power play. Nugent Hopkins with a good chance for Edmonton. Stopped by Bishop.
You're both about to start their power plays to bring you back into the first period. No score just yet against the Oilers here on social media nights. And I know many of you are well acquainted with the Lightning Fan Rewards program. Well, tonight we're taking it to the next level. We are introducing the Lightning Fan Express Grand Sweepstakes from it. Go to lightningfanrewards.com because you're not going to want to miss this contest. You can enter to win 50 tickets to the March 20th Lightning game with round-trip transportation on the Lightning Fan Express bus to and from the arena within a 75-mile radius, that is. And we will put you on the March 20th broadcast as well. I don't even know 49 people, Rick and Chief, but I'm sure someone here does.
Can't believe that, Kelly. Lightning in the power play, and a shot by Kucherov was deflected wide. Thanks very much. Hearing from Kelly throughout the night here at Social Media Night. Lightning with the man advantage, 18.6% of the power play. Strawman doesn't have the angle to shoot against Boyd Gordon. A defensive ace. It's fed in front. Stamkos well covered. Oilers on the kill, a little over 79%. Johnson fires it front, and that try intercepted by Keaton as Kucherov rifled that pass to him.
Well, that's the one thing about it. You're not going to get any soft passes from those guys.
Stamkos' feed tipped by Ferentz. Pouliot getting it ahead, and out comes Nugent Hopkins. The easy speed through center. Wheels around Strawman. Stopped by Bishop. Rebound. They score. Pouliot followed. Get ahead, and out comes Nugent Hopkins. The easy speed through center. Wheels around Strawman. Stopped by Bishop. Rebound. They score.
Rebound. They score.
Pouliot follows
Connor
up.
McDavid.
And Benoit Pouliot has been hot. He's scored goals in 4 straight games now in Edmonton with a shorthanded goal as a 1-0 lead.
Tied a game at 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, you just saw Hopkins' speed. He just blew by the Lightning defenseman out there, Strawman. As the Lightning were very, very lax in picking up the trailer. Nobody really watched that Pouliot. They let him go. You got to make sure. That's the talk about. You're never too late to come back. Lightning were very, very lax in picking up the trailer. Nobody really watched that Pouliot. They let him go. You got to make sure. That's the talk about. You're never too late to come back. They didn't. Pouliot just flicked the rebound past Bishop as well as Strawman. And shorthanded Pouliot has given Edmonton the lead. As Strawman. And shorthanded Pouliot has given Edmonton the lead.
That's his 5th goal in 4 games. He had both their goals in the loss in St. Louis as Bishop out to play that puck. Eddie Purcell on to kill the penalty. 52 seconds left on the call to Hendricks. And Purcell grabs the puck. He'll start it in. And we know Purcell can dangle. He tried to do just that. Finally surrenders the puck. Here comes Alex Killorn back with Callahan. Lightning set up the power play with Conley. Nugent Hopkins, the only assist on Pouliot's 9th goal. His first shorthanded this year, and the second for the team at 13:52. And Carl up top, wrist shot knocked down by Callahan with his stick, and it went wide. Ferentz in a hurry to get it out, gets helped by Lander to send the Lightning back. 5:10 to go here in the first period. As Paquette stood up at the line. Lefbaum will angle it out for Everly. Behind him, Nesterov reaching for it. And Hendricks out of the box. And Edmonton not only kills the penalty, they take the 1-0 lead on the Pouliot shorthanded goal. Ryan Boyle, teammate of Pouliot's with the Rangers last year. Everly starts it ahead. Justin Schultz, offensive-minded defenseman in the middle of that rush. Garrison back. And Everly went hurtling over him. Garrison does it once again for the Lightning. Finds a way to get it to Boyle. Matched up there with Klefbom. Down they go. J.T. Brown couldn't slide it across. Hall takes it. Taylor Hall wide tracks it in the zone. He's bumped there by Nesterov. Barberio ahead for Brown. Here comes Yakupov. 21-year-old down the boards, works against Killorn, centers, and Roy, well canceled there by Barberio, pair number 8. Killorn back for the Lightning, stepping around to Keaton, bumped him out of there to get the puck once again, circles that net. Barberio back around looking for Stamkos, and the Keaton broke that up. It's set back to the point, Schuster getting a stick on it. Finally, it's Fraser, and he'll play it in. Schuster matches up with him. Barberio on the scene. Nemestikov comes by for the puck. On the wing for Palat. He's held up at the line. Lander holds off Stamkos. Fraser comes a long way, and he collides there with Palat. Oilers have it under control with Ferentz moving to center and chipping it in. Carl over for. Schuster taken down by Lander. Puck squirts away. Johnson going to get it back to Kucherov. Broken up by Hendricks, the former Washington Capital. Petrie. Next there with Teddy Purcell.
Boy, right now, Rick, Edmonton has much more control of their game than the Lightning. Lightning are making so many sloppy plays in their own zone.
Puck deflected in by Hendricks. And it's fired out by Bishop. He nearly connected with Callahan, but it was over his blade. And icing is the call with 2:38 to go in the period.
Well, Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey on Sun Sports is brought to you by Hat Tricks. Proudly serving the Lightning fans for 18 years. It's just about 3 blocks from the arena on Franklin Street. Great place to start off your night here at the rink, as well as ending it there. Great place to grab a nice cold beverage or those famous shake and bake drinks.
Here's a steal. Nugent Hopkins fires wide as the pass came right up the middle to him. Bishop keeps the puck away from the net. Callahan controls it, getting it now to Paquette. 1-on-2. Will swing wide on Schultz. Pull him over. Get right back up and flip the puck ahead. Filppula looking for Callahan. Will control it. Steps out of that corner. Feeding it now, and it's intercepted by Everly. And here come the Oilers right on the attack. Taylor Hall, Everly, cutting in, shooting, forced to fire it wide by Barberio, who will get a slashing call. He might have saved a goal there. At 18:01 here in this first period, the shorthanded goal by Pouliot, and now a power play opportunity for Edmonton. Edmonton in front 1-0. Here's tonight's great moment in hockey history, brought to you by Geico, involving netman Dave Andrechuk on this day in 2004. Marty St. Louis scored 3 goals in the first period for his second career hat trick, and he added a goal and an assist, becoming just the 25th player in NHL history to score 1,300 career points as the Lightning beat Carolina by the score of 5-4. Dave Andrechuk, see, captain of that Stanley Cup championship team, and he'll be coming up with Paul at the intermission for his blade. And icing is the call with 2:38 to go in the period.
For a split second, was short to get there, and a heads up Chiasson getting his own rebound. I think everyone's got to take a breath now. Both sides to say, okay, let's get back to this game. We're back to even and start playing a little bit more control on either side.
No. Don't spoil the fun.
Both sides to say, okay,
years. It's just about 3
getting his own rebound.
I
think everyone's got to take a breath now. Both sides to say, okay, let's get back to this game. We're back to even and start playing a little bit more control on either side.
No. Don't spoil the fun.
Hopkins fires wide.
25 minutes, 26 minutes, 26 minutes.
You pointed out there, only the 13th guy to get 1,300 points, played for 20 years or more. He's been a tremendous player all throughout his career.
640 goals.
I mean, for his career, and what do you have to do?
And you look at how active he is in this community, in youth hockey and corporate affairs as well, and everything that's going on with his team. It's only a matter of time, and hopefully that time is very, very soon. 122, now 121 remaining on the slashing call to Barberio. Second power play for Edmonton. And let's talk about that Gulf Coast Honda Dealers first intermission report. Paul will visit with Tyler Johnson, who was wearing the red jersey this morning, indicating don't hit me. No contact jersey, and it also indicates you're a ways away, at least a game or so from playing. But here he is in the lineup. Kelly Nash will have more on social media night, highlights and stats as well.
Well, for a team that has really struggled on the road this year, winning only 2 games, and they happen to be back-to-back games way back in November, they've done a pretty good job of controlling this first period.
Yakupov with the shot. He sends it over the shoulder of Bishop. Right back to Petrie. Lines. Got a Roy, tried to sneak one through. That was blocked. Yakupov's shot didn't make it through. Cleared out by Paquette. 41 seconds to go before the intermission. Edmonton's had the last 4 shots on goal. Here's Roy making the play at the line. Knocked down by Strawman and cleared back by Brown, but Petrie right there. Petrie angles it off the boards, and he'll force that play in the corner with Garrison. Fed back around by Yakupov to the point, and it's Teddy Purcell. Petrie sends it back across. Here's the shot that's blocked by Garrison. He's blocked a couple here in this first period. Yakupov out of that corner and centered it from Lander, shooting, saved by Bishop. As the horn sounds, Barbera, with 1 second officially left to serve on that penalty to start the second period. Ben Bishop, a key stop there toward the end as the Edmonton Oilers look very comfortable in that first 20 minutes and scored on the Lightning power play and have a 1-0 lead on the goal by Pouliot. Tonight's Lightning broadcast in Sun Sports is presented by your Tampa Bay area BMW Center. Tyler Johnson in uniform for this one. A surprise as he comes out along with his teammates for the second period of play. Rick Beckham and the Chief, Bobby Taylor, back with you, Chief, the last time the Lightning were home. They had 27 shots on goal in the second period against the Buffalo Sabres. They ended up winning that game 2-1. It was a struggle, but they need to get some offense going here against Edmonton.
You're right, Rick, and those were 27 shots that got through. In this first period against Edmonton, they only had 13 shots towards the net. 5 got through. So they've got to do a much better job in this second period, and they've really got to be able to really hem Edmonton in. They've got a great opportunity because of that short change if the puck's in the offensive zone and they utilize it. So it could be a big difference in this period.
As we look at the Chase review, they virtually killed 2 penalties with 1 second left on the Barberio call that was late in that first period. But the 1 power play they had, they surrendered the shorthanded goal. That's the difference in the game right now to Benoit Pouliot. As we look at Ben, who has been a very productive scorer in recent games for Edmonton, as we mentioned, now a 4-game goal-scoring streak.
Yeah, he's been very good. He came in, as you pointed out, Rick, coming in with 4 goals in 3 games, 5 in his last 6. Now he's picked up that 5th goal in 4 games. And he, along with Beverly, are about the only 2 consistent goal scorers that Edmonton has at this point of the season.
Derek Roy has come in to add some offense. He's been generating some points since coming on board in Nashville, but Pouliot signing as a free agent with Edmonton, and from that face-off, Barberio returns from the penalty box. Lightning 2 of 2 in the kill. As Barberio staying out there for the moment with Strawman, it's sent down the ice, and Petrie back for it. Barrett had Kucherov step in front of him. It was centered by Palat off Ben Scriven's stick. Hendricks chased to the boards and dumped there by Strawman. Knocked down. Here comes Rob Klinkhammer stepping in. Going to make a move on Barberio. Muscled his way to the net. Bowls into Bishop. The puck went back to the goal. Bishop regaining his position as Kucherov grabs the puck. Watt leaves it in deep in the zone.
You know, they've been able to get the puck in the zone and make some moves in there, but Edmonton so far has done a good job of really eliminating them to getting to the front of the net or getting any kind of action on the goal. 5 shots, not a lot of shots for this team. It is right up there in the amount of shots for in the regular season.
Callahan shoving Nugent Hopkins off the play, but the Oilers do work at the center. Ray Schuster trying to feed it back. Comes back to Filppula. He maneuvers in against Klefbom. Joined by Callahan in behind the net. By the center, kept away from the goal by Scrivens, and the pass deflected right back toward the Edmonton defense. Paquette playing it now to Carl. In for Filppula. Well, he scored well against the Oilers in his career with Detroit and with the Lightning. 11 goals, 28 career games. Callahan sliding it behind the goal. Petrie trying to catch up to it. And here comes Nesterov. Nesterov getting back in time to hold it in for the Lightning. He'll scale it wide to the corner. Taken by Garrison. His shot is deflected away as Klefbom got his stick in front of Stamkos. That one's tipped on goal. Stamkos had it popped away to the corner. Or I should say toward the goal by Nemestikov. Ball's pass. Sent back to him and he'll shoot it in. Bishop with Edmonton changing. Long lead pass for Stamkos stationed at the line. Can't find an open man coming late. Garrison in tight quarters down the boards. Cut off by Nikitin. Lord digs in on him. Roy. And the back to Fane. Nesterov once again pitching in. Nemestikov with a pass to Garrison. He'll fire it in. Scrivens, the Cornell product, leading it. Fane with a pass ahead for Yakupov, and it's held in by Brown. Conley speeding through there, and Scrivens had to hurry. Laid it back to Pouliot. He'll lob it out. Barberio, good pass to Boyle. Hands it off to Brown. Ahead to Conley. Steps in, fires. Saved by Scrivens.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's one of the first shot of this period, even though with all that zone time and using their speed, and they're really taking that puck away, as we talked about, Rick, is trying to take that puck, make them turn the puck over in the neutral zone. He can get going the other way, and they did that time. Scrivens getting that shot from Conley and holding on for no rebound opportunity.
First shot, 12 minutes for the Lightning. Johnson on this faceoff, pulled back by Lander to Ferentz. Eddie Purcell starts it ahead. Andrew Ferentz from center will chip in charge. He'll follow it in. Works against Barberio. Razor. Checked by Barberio. Strowman trying to get it out of there. Oilers work hard to get it back on the point to Ferentz. Barberio trying to gain an edge on Lander. Palat couldn't get it by Schultz. Palat handles it for Kucherov and Johnson. They started ahead. Now Johnson will cut around Ferentz. Wins the hit. Palat double T behind the net. Ferentz in there for it. And it's pried loose by Kucherov. He comes up with it once again. Palat chasing it down. Bumps with Schultz. Carl. On those boards from his defense position. And it comes free. Kucherov with it. Purcell just got a piece of the pass. A diving Kucherov kept it away from Fraser.
Well, they had a 2-0 if he doesn't get that puck.
Schuster double team. Callahan in there working for it. Knocked free to Schultz. Klinkhammer kept it away from Carl. Filppula at center for the Lightning. In for Callahan. Scrivens goes for a handle. Here comes Nesterov. Boy, he has really not been shy about coming down those boards hard.
No, he jumps in quickly, Rick. He has got the speed to get back, though, as well.
Filppula finds Nesterov. Deals it down to Carl. Walks in front. Backhander saves Scrivens. Carl collides with him as Carl is grabbed and pulled on top of the goaltender. That gets everybody involved. Callahan fighting to get to the middle of it. As it looked like it was Hendricks who grabbed Carl, and they both fell on Scrivens.
Actually, what happened is he was hit from behind. And right onto the goaltender. Watches if he had a chance to see the rebound, he gets it, tried to stop, and then he was grabbed, as you pointed out, Rick, by Hendricks at the very end. Watch, he tried to jump around him, and then as he did, that's when Hendricks hit him from behind. Not hard, but it looks like Carl's going to get a goalie interference call.
That is indeed the case. Third Edmonton power play here at 4:59 of the second.
Makes you wonder. intensity of the game, but nonetheless, Lightning are very fortunate because, as you pointed out, Rick, Edmonton is 28th in the power play overall and 28th overall on the road. Buffalo and Florida overall, and Buffalo and Minnesota are the only teams that have a more net power play than these guys. But you can't keep giving them too many opportunities. They have too many good young players that can score if they get the opportunity.
Oilers get it from the faceoff. Schultz. Getting it now to Hall with the shot. It skims off Andre Schuster, and it was fired by Pouliot off the glass and out of play.
We're discussing now where that faceoff will come, and it looks like it will be in the Lightning zone to the right of Bishop.
Pouliot, a 16-goal year with the Lightning 2 years ago, and as we mentioned, with the Rangers and a key component on their drive to the finals last year. And of a number of players who left that Ranger team, as we well know, Callahan in a trade late last year, and Strawman and Boyle as free agents for the Lightning going into this year, and Pouliot a free agent to Edmonton. But give the Rangers credit, they've reloaded pretty well.
Yeah, they have. Those were three very important players in their trip to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Here's Pouliot. Nugent Hopkins hands it off to Everly. Schultz the drive, a save by Bishop. Rebound poked away by Garrison, and it came out of the zone, brought back in offside. 1:17 to go in the penalty.
Well, I'll tell you what, Edmonton has really gained the offensive zone easily when they've had the power play. They haven't had only an awful lot of shots get through, but they have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their men, with their power play. Watch the shot coming through and off a skate, and then right up to the chest of Bishop. Really good position by the Lightning goaltender. That went off a Hall. I think Morley escaping his inside of his other leg as well.
You're talking about the skill they have out there. Everyone but Schultz was not only a first round. Bishop rebound poked away by Garrison, and it
mentioned a young player trying to make his mark in the National Hockey League. Bad timing there as Russell turned around with the reverse pass and Tkachuk didn't lay up in time. So the first penalty and an early opportunity for the Oilers to get this crowd back on their feet.
Power play brought to you by BioSteel Sports Nutrition, the natural choice for everyday performance. Drink the team.
And then right up to the chest.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins starts on the power play. McDavid is to his left. Maroon to his right. There's a shot from the point. Oscar Klefbom jumps in. Yes, he pulled Harvey.
But they have no trouble getting inside the... Well, I'll tell you what, Edmonton has really gained the offensive zone easily when they've had the power play. They haven't had only an awful lot of shots get through, but they have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their men, with their power play. Watch the shot coming through and off a skate, and then right up to the chest of Bishop. Really good position by the Lightning goaltender. That went off a Hall. I think Morley escaping his inside of his other leg.
Andre Schuster, and it was fired by Pouliot off the glass and out of play.
Discussing now where that faceoff will come. And it looks like it will be in the Lightning zone to the right of Bishop.
Pouliot, a 16-goal year with the Lightning.
Discussing now.
Andre Schuster, and it was fired by Pouliot.
Next, 38 minutes, 50. 40 minutes, 8 seconds, 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 20, 40 minutes, 39 seconds, 40 minutes, 50 seconds, 41 minutes, 12 seconds, 40 minutes, 14 seconds, 40 minutes, 4 seconds, 39 minutes, 46 seconds, 39 minutes, 47 seconds, 39 minutes, 48 seconds, 39 minutes, 39 seconds, 39 minutes, 40 seconds, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49 seconds.
They have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their man.
39 minutes, 41 seconds, 39 minutes, 37 seconds. 39 minutes, 28 seconds, 39 minutes, 29 seconds, 39 minutes, 30 seconds, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49 seconds.
Offside, 1:17 to go in the penalty.
Well, I'll tell you what, Edmonton has really gained the offensive zone easily when they've had the power play. They haven't had only an awful lot of shots get through, but they have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their men, with their power play. Watch the shot coming through and off a skate, and then right up to the chest of
39 minutes, 49 seconds, 39 minutes, 51 seconds, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49 seconds.
Bishop, really good position by the Lightning goaltender. That went off a hall. He normally escaped to the inside of the
40 Mama keeps the cookies.
You're getting a little too cute.
And he just about found it. It's played in by Barberio.
Lightning are getting a little too cute. They lose soft passes at each blue line, and you're killing a penalty. Got to be much more diligent than that.
Petrie shoots it in. Open a grab there by Lander as the Lightning get control. And Stroman hangs on to it. He was challenged, but hung on to that puck, clears it out. 27 seconds to go, and a call to Carl. Eddie Purcell starts it ahead. Everly. He's up with Garrison, who's been a strong force defensively for the Lightning tonight. Petrie looks for a shooting angle. Doesn't have one. Purcell will take one. Blocker to win by Bishop, his former college teammate at Maine, as well as with the Lightning. All force behind the net. Nice play by Garrison. Got the puck free with Carl. Returning and getting the lead pass. Lightning at full strength. Pass across. Stamkos shoots.
Makes it 2-0 Lightning.
Can you see he's hot? There had to be about a 10-inch square for him to put that puck right over the left shoulder of Scrivens, and he found it. Man, what a tremendous shot. Quick heads-up play, too, as Carl saw him coming off the bench. And not much there, but boy, did he ever put it home to tie this hockey game with his 26th of the year at 7:10.
Goals now in 4 straight games. And there's that shot right to the corner over the shoulder of Scrivens. Just like one. And there's that shot right to the corner over the shoulder of Scrivens. Just like that in the blink of an eye. Lightning killing that penalty. Trying to get back on even footing. And just like that, the long pass from Garrison, who made a nice defensive play to get it started. Up to Matt Carl. Onto the stick of Stamkos. Not for long. Goal number 26, which going into this game, Nash and Tyler Seguin share the goal scoring lead in the NHL at 26. Stamkos right there at 26 as the play whistled down offside. 7:10, the time of the goal, and this game is tied up. Steven Stamkos does it again.
Why, take a look at that score now. Very big sigh of relief from the Lightning. Steven Stamkos picking up that tremendous goal for his 26th of the year at 7:10. And we are tied at 1. Only the 8th shot on goal the Lightning have had in the game. The third this period.
1:17 to go in the penalty.
I'll tell you what, Edmonton has really gained the offensive zone easily when they've had the power play. They haven't had an awful lot of shots get through, but they have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their men, with their power play. Watch the shot coming through and off the skate and then right up to the chest.
39 minutes, 47, 39 minutes, 39 minutes, 43, 39 minutes, 44 seconds, 39 minutes, 39 minutes, 46 seconds, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49
Watch
seconds.
the shot coming through and off.
39 minutes, 39 minutes, 40 seconds, 39 minutes, 41 seconds, 39 minutes, 42 seconds, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49
getting
seconds.
inside the Lightning zone with their men, with their power play. Watch the shot coming through and off.
39 minutes, 45 seconds, 39 minutes,
gained the offensive zone easily.
39 minutes, 38 seconds, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49 seconds.
An awful lot of shots get through, but they have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their men, with their power play. Watch the shot coming through and off a skate and then right up to the chest.
39 minutes, 52 seconds of 1 hour, 37. 41 minutes, 13 seconds. 41 minutes, 41 minutes. 42 minutes, 20, 42 minutes, 20, 42 minutes, 36 seconds of 1 hour, 42 minutes, 57, 42 minutes, 50. 43 minutes, 43 minutes, 49 seconds, 43 minutes, 43 minutes, 40 minutes.
Collision there with Barberio. It's poked free to Johnson. Quick play. And Stroman finds Palat. Lead pass for Kucherov. Just pushed behind him. And Kuch ahead of that race for the puck. No icing. And back in front. Hendricks takes it. He'll dispense with it to center. 8 minutes have been played here in the second period. The shot's 13-8 Edmonton. Lightning have time here in the second period. The shot's 13 in Edmonton. Lightning have tied it on the goal by Stamkos.
They 2-1
Play
lead.
offside.
A goal by the Dart.
Let's take a look at the goal leaders now. With that goal here, you see Stamkos is tied Sagan and Nash for the league lead, and Tarasenko, I guess you could say he's in fourth place. 24.
Yeah, we'll get to see.
24.
Yeah, we'll get to see Vladimir Tarasenko a couple of times in the next month or so. Following the All-Star break, Lightning going to St. Louis and then Lightning have tied it on the goal by Stamkos. Play offside.
Let's take a look at the goal leaders now. With that goal here, you see Stamkos is tied Sagan and Nash for the league lead, and Tarasenko, I guess you could say he's in fourth place. 24.
Yeah, we'll get to see Vladimir Tarasenko a couple of times in the next month or so. Following the All-Star break, Lightning going to St. Louis and then the Blues coming back to it.
44 minutes. 41 minutes. 51 seconds. 44.
They push it ahead, chase it down. Garrison coming a long way to meet him. Nemesnikov controls. Poised by the 22-year-old. Pass, though, into the hands of Pouliot. There's a shot by Roy, and it's deflected wide. Chopped away by Killorn. Schultz holds his ground. Nemesnikov trying to play it out. Defended there by Derek Roy. Barrett's ahead for Pouliot. Edmonton wants to change. Garrison looks ahead. Shoveled by Callahan of the Edmonton defense, then right back, and Nesterov right there with Callahan walking in, trying to split the defense. Saved by Bishop, rebound poked away by Garrison, and it came out of the zone, brought back in offside. 1:17 to go in the penalty.
I'll tell you what, Edmonton has really gained the offensive zone easily when they've had the power play. They haven't had only an awful lot of shots get through, but they have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their men, with their power play. Watch the shot coming through and off a skate, and then really gained the offensive zone easily when they've had the power play. They haven't had only an awful lot of shots get through, but they have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their men. The shots get through, but they have no trouble getting inside the Lightning zone with their men, with their power play. Watch the shot coming through and off a skate, and then right up to the chest of Bishop. Really good position by the Lightning goaltender. That went off a haul, and he always escaped his inside of his other leg as well.
42 minutes. 45 minutes, 14 seconds. 45 minutes, 45 seconds of
Easter shooting. It's blocked by
45 minutes.
Fraser. The race is on. Teddy Purcell with a puck. Purcell drawing double coverage with the Lightning coming back in good numbers. Filppula facilitated that. Ferentz over for Purcell. Purcell swings in, harried there by Filppula from behind. The Keaton over for it.
That could be a real ploy for the Lightning, as we talked about, Rick, is that coming back in that back check and pickpocketing the Oilers as they're making a play on the offensive blue line. But that can really give you the odd man rush the other way because this defense get up quickly.
Midway through the second period, we're tied at 1. Taylor Hall chips that puck to the corner. Barbarian is actually bearing down on him at good speed. Puck knocked free by Nugent Hopkins. Here's Hall. Nice move trying to get to the front, and he couldn't make a play. J.T. Brown back for the Lightning. His dump in was punched away, and a hand pass by Petrie taken at center, and that's whistled down by the officials with 9:44 to go in the second. The shot's 13-8 Edmonton, and we're tied at 1. 9:44 to go in the second. The shot's 13-8 Edmonton, and we're tied at 1.
Steven Stamkos' goal ties this one up at 1 as we bring you back into the second quarter.
Kelly, thanks very much. And it's a tough choice in a 58-point team. A lot of heroes. Petrie. Up deflected to center. Klinkhammer gets it in. And it's played now by Bishop. He'll fire it out for Barberio. Poked free by Petrie. Klinkhammer, he looks familiar. He's been here a few times this year. It's like he's in disguise, Chief. In a different uniform every time. Petrie with a shot that missed the net. Kucherov knocking it free. Played backed up by Hendricks. In for Gordon. Tried to step in front. Nice play by Strawman, poking that puck off his stick as he made his move. Klinkhammer wins that puck in the corner. However, Petrie forced to center. Petrie playing it back. Klinkhammer dumping it in at the end of a shift. Klinkhammer has been a physical force since joining this team. He's had 22 hits the last 3 games coming in. He had 10 in a win over the Blackhawks. In recent action, here comes Filppula flying out of that Tampa Bay zone. Deals it to Callahan. He'll head to the corner and take on Clefbaum. Nugent Hopkins playing it back. Reaching for it, Everly. Taken by Nugent Hopkins. Ahead for Hall. Trailed by Paquette. Taylor Hall off the glass. Ahead of the Lightning line. Poked away by Carl. Carl's got it. Takes a look around. He'll bang it off the boards. Filppula takes a chop at it. Comes back to Schultz. And a good job by Paquette to force the Oilers to center.
Well, that goal hasn't really discouraged Edmonton at all. They still controlled the play here in this second period. Lightning had 3 shots, one of them being the goal. And they have not been able to clear their zone cleanly at all for the first period and a half.
Todd Nelson taking over this team right before Christmas. Of course, the general manager, Craig McTavish, took over the reins after Dallas Eakins was initially relieved of his duties. Here's Pouliot shooting a save by Bishop. Puck left in front and Paquette has it. And out he comes to center. Couldn't get it in deep. Lightning wanted a change. They won't be able to complete it. Roy skips into the zone. Yakupov circles back. Hands it off to Keaton. Firing it down the boards. They look in front. Carl, a good play to front Roy, and the play comes to center. Oilers started off 0-3-2 under Nelson. Now it's played in. Yakupov off the post. He went low this time, and boy, he solidly connected with that post. The Bishop's right.
I'll tell you what, Edmonton is controlling this game. And Lightning not getting the puck and making lazy dumps, and that kept that lineup of Paquette and Filppula on the ice way too long.
Lord speeding in there. Outmaneuvers Ferentz. Circles in front. Turns. Fires it across. It's sent wide by Stamkos. It sets in front. A shot deflected wide of the net. Nemesnikov collides with Scrivens. Steven Stamkos had the whole open side. Somehow it was deflected. Nesterov with a shot that's wide. Fraser gets it out. Rink wide to Purcell. Garrison back as well as Killorn. Fired back to the point. Schultz there. Across. Clefbaum, big wind up, and he blasted wide. Schultz has it. Here's Fraser's shot. That's snuffed out by Nesterov, and it comes to center. Talking about the Oilers, a slow start under Nelson. They've gone 3-3-2 since in the last 8 games, and you can see a lot more structure to their game, Chief.
Well, they have, I'll tell you what, they have really played better in their zone than what the record indicates.
Klinkhammer moving it ahead to Hendricks. Hendricks battling to get to it. Cuts in behind the net. Gordon arrives. Ends up on his knees as the Lightning move it off the boards and back to center with 5 minutes to go in the second period. Klinkhammer deflects it in. He was here with Arizona in late October. He's been here with the Penguins. In fact, he's faced the Lightning twice. Now he comes here in an Edmonton uniform. And we barely reached the halfway point of the home schedule. He's been here 3 times with 3 different teams. Everly going to hand it off to Hall. Taken away by Boyle. Across to Brown. Conley quickly in on Mark Fade. Puck squirts away to Jordan Eberle. Nugent Hopkins tips one to the corner. Carl negated by Hall. Boyle right there to take it. Continuous play here in the second period as Brown fires it in.
Right now, the Lightning haven't done anything at all to discourage Edmonton. 14-8 shot total is favoring the Oilers. We're tied at 1, but you know, with a team that struggled to win on the road, or struggled to win period, you can get a goal on them or get a little bit more pressure on them in their zone. You think they would probably have a little, get discouraged. That hasn't been the case. It's the other way around right now. They're not, although the Lightning are getting discouraged, but they haven't been able to generate any kind of offense.
Paquette trying to turn the corner here. Wouldn't get the puck to cooperate. He got a shoulder from Ferentz as well. But the Lightning do get set up in the Edmonton zone. Callahan circles, fires, saved by Scrivens. Garrison with the puck. Kept it on the line. Taken away, though. Here comes Yakupov. He's got a 3-on-1. A pass to Roy. Shooting, a save by Bishop. Derek Roy feeding it back. Pouliot couldn't get much of the shot. Disrupted by Filppula. Lightning living on the edge here. Surviving in a 1-1 tie. Poked along. Yakupov's stick was tied up. The pass comes to center. The chief noted Edmonton winning back-to-back games on the road in Buffalo and against the Rangers at MSG. November the 9th was their last road win. Their only 2 road wins of the season. They've gone winless in 13 since then. But they are determined to get 2 points tonight. Ben Bishop, huge stop.
Boy, was it ever. Roy just sliding that puck on the ice for a veteran, not a great choice. And then Stamkos had a couple of chances there. He just missed it. And this one here, it was just deflected away by Landers as he got back with a good stick to deflect that shot to 2 open nets that were deflected.
Taken by Stamkos, trying to pop it out in front. And it ends up with Matt Fraser. Swinging in Schultz, the defenseman, out of the University of Wisconsin, highly prized free agent. He was not drafted. One of those college free agents everybody was putting in a bid for, and Edmonton won him. Killorn out of the corner. And Fraser over for it, beats up with Nemesnikov. And Killorn tried to center, could not. Schultz ahead for Purcell. Good pass, right on target. Fraser steaming in, firing, and he sends it over the shoulder of Bishop off the glass. Down goes Killorn. He'll lift the puck in the air. By the reach of Nikitin, he catches up to it. Pass out of the reach of Gordon, and we'll get an icing called here against Edmonton. Take a look at the Lightning's upcoming schedule presented by Steak and Shake.
Well, as Rick pointed out, we have mostly Western Conference teams before the All-Star break. Mostly all of them are, actually. Colorado Saturday, Vancouver on Tuesday, and then coming back after the break, you'll see the 27th in Carolina for the 1 game, and then Detroit comes to town.
Schuster had the puck hop off his stick. We'll backtrack to center. Tyler Johnson working it to Palat. He steps in, fakes the shot, going to Johnson. Klinkhammer interrupted things.
Got too fancy again. Now you got an odd man rush the other way.
Klinkhammer cutting in, diving play. Schuster broke it up, but we're going to get the call for the trip. And of course, this year it doesn't matter if you get that puck first or not. And a tripping penalty upcoming with 1:18 remaining in the second period. We're tied at 1. We're tied at 1. Andre Schuster in the box for the trip. Stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda Dealer second intermission report. Paul Kennedy visits with Matt Carl, who made the play leading to the Stamkos goal. Highlights and stats with Dave Andrechuk, and they'll take you around the league. 9 other games on the schedule in the NHL. Most of these West versus East matchups.
Fourth power play for Edmonton. 0 for 4. They've had 4 shots on the previous 3. The most active one was the last one they had, where they had 3 shots.
against Edmonton.
55 minutes.
Pass out of the reach of Gordon, and we'll get an icing called here against Edmonton.
Cross keyboard shortcut.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the Lightning's upcoming schedule presented by State.
5 foot tall. So where that stick is, it's still, like you said, the crossbar to see.
It doesn't matter how tall the player is.
No, it's where the stick is.
So relative to the crossbar.
So some kinds it's just kind of deceiving to see how high the stick possibly is because you judge it on the player where it is on his body sometimes.
Still not made a final determination here.
I'm not even sure. You see the Johan Larsson stick came in through there too. Did he touch it before Brian Giunta touched it? Or even did Brian Giunta even touched it?
Giunta was the first to celebrate, but I mean, that could be because he saw it go into the net first.
You're right. If you watch this, the
1.5.0.
Can shake the reach of Gordon. And we'll go. Pass out of the reach of Gordon. And we'll get an icing called here against Edmonton. Let's take a look at the Lightning's upcoming schedule presented by Steak and Shake.
Well, as Rick pointed out, we have mostly Western Conference teams before the All-Star break, and mostly all of them are, actually. Colorado Saturday, Vancouver on Tuesday, and then coming back after the break, you'll see the 27th in Carolina for the one game, and then Detroit comes to town.
Tyler Johnson working it to Palat.
Next keyboard. Slider. 57 minutes, 45 seconds, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49 seconds, 57 minutes, 40.
Hopkins, he tapped it free to Hall. Hall now to Pouliot, swings it front, shoots. Saved by Bishop on the rebound, they score. It slips in behind. He's by Nugent Hopkins, he tapped it free to Hall. Hall now to Pouliot, swings it front, shoots. Saved by Bishop on the rebound, they score. It slips, they score.
Now we get a power play goal. And this one here, Pouliot's been able to cut in off that wing all night long. And being that right-handed shot, he just can really protect that puck with his body. He did a good job of that. Got the shot. It looked like it was stopped. And then it was rolled in by Pouliot again and hit Garrison in the skate and just agonizingly, slowly rolled over top of the
2-1 lead.
And Pouliot.
6 goal.
They had a goal. Now they get a power play goal. And this one here, Pouliot's been able to cut in off that wing all night long. And being that right-handed shot, he just can really protect that puck. And just Pouliot's second goal.
6 goals his last 4 games. 6 of those 10. Icing the call against the Lightning.
They've been very, very good at protecting their blue line. They've been very good at protecting the front of the net, Edmonton. They haven't, Lightning haven't been able to really penetrate those areas very well. Their shots, they haven't had a whole lot towards the net. And maybe just taking the simple and making the play for the reach.
Stamkos, not for long. Goal number 26, which going into this game, Nash and Tyler Seguin shared the goal-scoring lead in the NHL at 26. Stamkos right there at 26 as the play whistle down offside. 7:10, the time of the goal, and this game.
NHL October 16/2016 Buffaloes. 43 minutes, 13 seconds, 1 hour. 43 minutes, 10 seconds, 1 hour. 43 minutes.
And we are tied at 1. Only the 8th shot on goal the Lightning have had in the game. The third this period.
And Pouliot surprised by Carl. Hall and Nugent Hopkins pick up the assists on Pouliot's 10th and 2nd of the game. A shorthanded goal and a power play goal. Pull out to center. Slides it nicely to Johnson with speed. Cuts it. Fire save by Scrivens. Rebound knocked down. Perfect Barrio gets it under control. Nikit bumped in there by Palat. Started a three-man collision along with Derek Roy. Played by Yakupov, and that'll do it for the second period. So the Lightning head to the locker room, trailing by a goal, 2-1. Todd Nelson, eighth acted, and the Oilers have the advantage here, 2-1 on two Benoit Pouliot goals. Offsetting the goal by Steven Stamkos, tying him for the NHL goal-scoring lead, is 26th on the year.
Go again.
Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey and Sun Sports has been brought to you by Gulf Coast Honda. Visit your Gulf Coast Honda dealers for great deals on new Hondas. Go to gchondadealers.com. By Kaiser University, over 90 programs online and on campus. Learn more at kaiseruniversity.edu. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by your Tampa Bay area BMW centers. Lightning set to go as they head out of the locker room and onto the ice here at Amalie Arena. Down 2-1, heading for this third period. Chief, no time but the present to find those legs and get those shots going.
Exactly, Rick. You know, I mean, Edmonton's played pretty well, but they haven't really been tested, haven't really been challenged a whole lot by the Lightning for 40 minutes, and it's something that they're going to have to do here in the final 20 because they're down by one.
As we look at the chase review, certainly a number that jumps out at you. 10 shots on goal through 40 minutes.
That's the key. You have to generate a little bit more than that, and they've had enough time in the offensive zone, but haven't really been able to get any kind of shots on there. I don't know if it's just waiting a little count too long, making that extra pass, whatever. But it's got to get back to a much more simpler, straight-ahead style in here in the third.
Benoit Pouliot playing the role of the villain here in his return to Amalie Arena. With both Edmonton goals, the Oilers, as you saw, 1 for 4 in the power play, Chief. They've been shorthanded just one time. That gives you an idea of the legs that the Lightning have not been able to get moving so far.
Exactly.
1 hour, 3 minutes, 45 seconds. 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49.
By Bishop as somehow he gets the stick back again. That is a bizarre situation.
Well, when Schuster dropped it at just in between the red line and blue line and the Edmonton side of center ice.
Yeah.
1 hour, 2 minutes. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 12 seconds. 1 hour, 2 minutes. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 23 seconds. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 24 seconds. 1 hour, 2 minutes. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 51 seconds. 1 hour.
They've been moving the puck. Here comes his speed.
And Bishop sliding out at least. He's
1 hour, 3 minutes, 45 seconds. 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49 seconds.
Bishop as somehow he gets the stick back again. That is a bizarre situation.
Wow, when Schuster dropped it at just in between the red line and blue line and the Edmonton side of center ice, Tyler Johnson picked it up and then kind of dropped it at his feet.
1 hour, 2 minutes, 45 seconds. 1 hour, 2 minutes. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 17 seconds. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 20. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 38 seconds. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 39. 1 hour, 2 minutes, 40 seconds. 1 hour, 30.
Bishop's goal stick regains his net as the Lightning come to center. And Bishop urging on Nesterov to go back for that puck along with Jason Harrison, who tried to fire the puck away, ended up firing Bishop's goal stick out through center ice. Even Stamkos winds it up. So Bishop, without his goal stick for as long as it takes to get a whistle, it would appear. Now, Schuster's got to drop to Everly. Quick release. Covered by Bishop. Somehow he gets the stick back.
And at the other end, it will be Cam Talbot. You heard his name before? Well, before he was with the Oilers, he was also with the New York Rangers, serving in a backup role to Henrik Lundqvist. First period replays are brought to you by the all-new Ford F-150 with EcoBoost. Built Ford tough. Referees tonight, Brad Watson and Tim Peel, Evan Berg, and Ryan Gibbons will be within the lines.
Bishop a stop for Paul. Playing it back out to Schultz. Around for Klefbom. Schultz to Everly. Quick release, and it's covered by Bishop as somehow he gets the stick back again. That is a bizarre situation.
Wow, when Schuster dropped it at just in between the red line and blue line and the Edmonton side of center ice, Tyler Johnson picked it up and then kind of dropped it at his feet, and when the puck went across, he was able to pick it up in the transition. But here you see it happening. Just after that is when they moved the puck around. But Edmonton has actually just taken away all kinds of the passing lanes. They played their position well, and they've got the pucks in behind the Lightning defense and had their speed working for them.
McKean with a drive. It's gloved by Bishop, and I got a flashback, Chief, as Schuster had the puck coming to him. As we look at Johnson getting the stick, Schuster at one point had the goal stick in one hand, his own stick in his other. There you see, he had to drop it because the puck Thunderdome against with two sticks was the only time I can ever remember a player getting a penalty for playing with two sticks was Alt Samuelson, then of the Rangers with a drop.
Benson had.
And I got a flashback, Chief, as Schuster had the puck coming. The goal stick in one hand, his own stick in his other. There you see, he had to drop it because the puck was coming his way. The only time I can ever remember a player getting a penalty for playing with two sticks was Alt Samuelson, then of the Rangers, at the Thunderdome against the Lightning. Back. And his own stick in his other. There you see, he had to drop it because the puck was coming his way. The goal stick in one hand, his own stick in his other. There you see, he had to drop it because the puck was coming his way. Two sticks was the only time I can ever remember at the Thunderdome against the Lightning. Samuelson, you would see 96, I want to say was March. And if you knew Alt Samuelson, you would not be surprised that he would be the guy who would get the penalty for that. As Johnson around the net, out in front. Kucherov stopped this goal! You would not be of the rise that he would be the guy who would get the penalty for that. There's that trio. Puck is lobbed down the ice. We'll get an icing called against the Lightning. Pull out from Kucherov and Johnson. At 1:33. There's that trio once again. And Lightning surprised by having Johnson available for this game. It didn't look that way coming off the morning skate with his non-contact jersey out there.
Yeah, I think they've been struggling this game. Usually they've been really one of the best lines and the most consistent lines for the line, but they've been struggling, I thought, in the first two periods, but all you need is one.
They were -1 coming into this period. Here's Nemestikov walking and shooting. Saved by Scrivens. He'll hang on. When that line's a -1, you've got headline news.
Exactly. Well, they switched the lines around a little bit again. Now you see Nemestikov between Conley and Killorn. And I think Stamkos has switched with Filppula and Callahan. You might see Filppula back on the wing. But he'll take the faceoff, I'm sure.
Oilers get it with Ferentz controlling off that faceoff, chipping it to center, knocked down by Stamkos, playing it back to Filppula, and in for Callahan. Barberio follows that play in the attacking zone. Petrie and the Oilers, though, get things under control. Saved by Scrivens, he'll hang on. When that line's a -1, you've got headline news.
Exactly. Well, they switched the lines around a little bit again. Now you see Nemestikov between Conley and Killorn. Switched with you might see on the wing, but he'll take the
off that fade in for Callahan. Barberio follows that play in the attacking zone. Petrie and the Oilers, though, get things under control. And Teddy Purcell plays it in down the boards, and we get the late whistle to the offside.
Well, that's kind of really, I would think, kind of energized the Lightning getting that tying goal this early. We take a look at what you do in the third period is look at Nikita Kucherov in this season. Look at the amount of points and goals that he's picked up in the third. The bulk of his scoring has come in this third period.
Filppula. It's across for Stamkos. Fires saved by Scrivens, who had leaned over at that post. And just hammered Fired one right off the Oiler crest. Harrison racing back. He's got Nesterov with him. And the outlet stolen by Hall. Here's Purcell shooting. That's blocked. Hall shovels it back. Here's a try. Stop by Bishop. Covers it up. And Schultz followed up from the Oiler defense.
That's the kind of plays the Lightning have made all night long. And that's something you got to really be rewarded, careful of. And you don't get that puck away in the middle of the ice, especially in those shooting areas, and then how quickly Edmonton goes to the offense.
Face-off test in front. Left off firing just by the glove of Bishop. He got a lot on that one. We've seen him wind up with a big drive. Is it back? Here's a try stop by Bishop. Covers it up. Schultz followed up.
Come up large early in this hockey game. Sabres a little bit of chasing in their own zone, just following the puck here. 3 guys on one side, leaving Golden Darby, come right down the middle of the ice. Johan Larsson just on the last second able to get there.
Face-off tapped in front. Left glove firing just by the glove of Bishop. He got a lot on that one. We've seen him wind up with a big drive, and that one a wrist shot. He can let it go either way. Schultz. Now Nugent Hopkins winding it up.
Brought in on an offside against Edmonton.
As Schultz followed up.
Opening week presented by the GQ 5-Buck Lunch. Available all day for a limited time.
And that's something you got to really be rewarded.
Slider. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 3 seconds. 1 hour, 1 hour, 9 minutes,
coming into the lineup.
He swoops in. His pass was deflected by Schuster. Malott battles to get his stick away from Eberle. Out to Kucherov. With Klefbom.
The difference between Edmonton's defense and the Lightning is that they'll take a guy out of the play and just rub him off. Lightning will try to stick him on him.
Hit at every turn, and that's what the Flame captain does. But look at the response, a little bit of a cross-check. Makes 2 good plays around the net, so it didn't look like it was an instant.
As the Lightning battle the Colorado Avalanche. Meeting between the Lightning and the Avs. Packages start as low as $100 by now.
As you know, a star in the National Hockey League, you're going to get extra attention. You're going to get hit. He was injured or touched the puck. If they can catch him.
And a lot of times they won't be able to catch this guy. McDavid is one of the few players who can pick up speed when he gets to the puck.
Seek slider at 1 hour, 10 minutes, 11 seconds of 1 hour.
First drive.
1 hour, 9 minutes, 14 seconds. 1 hour, 10 minutes, 14. 1 hour, 10 minutes, 16 seconds. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 49 seconds. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 1 hour.
Out of the play, just rub him off. Lightning will try to stick him on the play.
Up deflects into the glove of Scrivens. Lightning fans for a Little Caesars Family Fun Pack this Saturday at 7 p.m. as the Lightning battle the Colorado Avalanche. First meeting between the Lightning and the Avs. Packages start as low as $100 by now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets.
Coming into tonight, Lightning's 53 third-period goals were tied with Montreal for first in the league. That gives them 54. Canadians are down 3-1 to Ottawa. They might just take over that lead next time. So the third-period offense has really helped them out so far this year.
Marquette with a solid hit on Fane. Strawman holds the play in. He's taken down by Gordon. Back comes Hendricks. Handled by Bishop. Wants to fire it up the middle. Put it right on the blade for Boyle. Overleaves Brown. Hendricks bumped by Boyle at center. Knocked free by Barberio. Just past the 4-minute mark. Lightning scoring early in the period at 1:33 plus 10 from Kucherov and Johnson. I think back to the candidates for the Lightning's MVP for the first half with Kelly Nash in that social.
Your screen, everybody going to the bench a little bit late, developing, and a heads-up play by McDavid. Instead of allowing that puck to go up, he just kicked it back to his D-man, and a heads-up pass there by Klefbom, tape to tape. And despite a rolling puck, you can see Cassidy just controlled it for a split second, showed a lot of patience there and curling it back around.
1 hour, 11 minutes, 7 seconds of 1
Heroics.
1 hour, 11 minutes, 8 seconds. 1 hour.
Stamkos in the absence of Johnson on that road trip. And Now scoring a big goal here. And of course, the other guys, very worthy candidates as well. Stamkos comes up with a puck, centers, and Ferentz flicked it away. Callahan got it away from Yakupov. Eric Roy, veteran defenseman, longtime Sabre, will shoot it in. Nesterov to Stamkos. Overleads Callahan.
Tampa is normally a really good passing team. They've really had struggles tonight with passing.
Lander playing it back down the boards. Fraser quickly in on it. Nesterov lined him up. Good hit.
Good hit was right. And guess what? He got the puck. Amazing when that happens, isn't it?
Callahan playing it off the glass. Thorne all over Schultz. Works around him. Lightning changing up ice.
1 hour, 9 minutes, 41 seconds. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 42 seconds. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 43 seconds.
No hesitation by Milan Lucic. Whether he wins this battle or not, it's going after it, sending that message. Now, this is going to be riding shotgun to 97 all year. Here's the shot. He gets pushed in, and the quick reaction. England knew it was coming. Lucic went after him.
Coming into tonight, Lightning's 50.
1 hour, 9 minutes, 1 hour, 9 minutes, 1 hour, 9 minutes, 40 seconds. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 41 seconds. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 42 seconds. 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49 seconds.
The difference between Edmonton's defense.
1 hour, 9 minutes, 41. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 1 hour, 9 minutes, 46. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 47 seconds. 1 hour, 9 minutes, 48 seconds. 1 hour, 37 minutes, 49 seconds.
Fans for a Little Caesars Family Fun Pack this Saturday at 7 p.m. as the Lightning battle the Colorado Avalanche. First meeting between the Lightning and the Avs. Packages start as low as $100. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets.
Coming into tonight, Lightning's.
Packages start as low as $100. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets.
Coming into tonight, Lightning's 50.
1 hour, 10 minutes, 40. 1 hour, 11 minutes, 55. 1 hour, 12 minutes. 1 hour, 12 minutes, 17. 1 hour, 12. 1 hour.
Shot back door. That looked like that was inside the corner of the post and the crossbar. Waved off down low, though, by Kevin Pollock. And at the next whistle, we'll find out for sure. Here comes Klefbom. He'll skim it in wide. Bishop trying to keep the Oilers at bay as they slide it through center. Oilers will get to it, and we continue. Nikita Nikitin back through center. And the play whistle down offside. We'll step aside. We're tied up at 2, and perhaps that might change as we have a look at the shot by Carl, and that looks like it's in.
It's in.
We're tied at 2. It looked like Matt Carl has scored the lead goal. And we'll take a look at the overhead. You'll see it there. I'm with Rick. I thought that was directly in.
Give the Rangers try. Stop by Bishop. Covers it up. Schultz followed
on the crossbar and came back. And the play on the ice stands. No goal. We're still tied at 2.
Kevin Pollock with that call out of the corner, and he was right on the mark.
Boy, I thought you were right on there, Rick.
Yeah, just the
inside of the crossbar and the netting at the same time.
Yeah, just the way it caromed off. Yeah. As it turned out, the crossbar at that angle. Here's a drive that's blocked. Nevertheless, Andre Palat, who has tied this game up, wins the puck. The pass across to Schuster at center. Handing it to Kucherov. Is swatted in deep in the Edmonton zone. Left now for Nikitin. Eberle. Lead pass for Taylor Hall. And a swing inside on Schuster. And they got tangled up in that web. It was almost like the old seaweed Chief used to talk about when he first came up. Here's Bishop with a save on the shot by Klefbom for the point.
You can't keep constantly giving that puck away at the blue line or you're going to get burned.
Lightning fans, a Subway student rush ticket scores you the expected to do to Edmonton.
Yeah, exactly. You just force them to play in their zone, but it hasn't happened. They get on quickly to force those mistakes, and it hasn't happened.
Schultz will take the drive. That's blocked by Garrison. Callahan to center of the Lightning. Nesterov Get a stick on it. Harrison with a try. It's blocked in front, and the equipment of Klefbom. He was able to step away from a check, get the puck free, and help the Oilers clear it out. Nikita Nesterov with a pass on the wing for Callahan. It hopped over his stick. Ference drives it in. Harrison takes it. 25-15. The shots favoring Edmonton. That pass missing Callahan, icing the call against the Lightning.
See, that's another thing. You know, we mentioned it earlier in the second period, but the passing has not been really accurate tonight. That's what really helps the Lightning create their speed, is because their ability to pass. In this, I haven't seen too many passes tape to tape in this game.
It's back toward Conley on with Killorn. And Vlad Namestnikov. His second game back with the Lightning. 17 points in 16 games of the Syracuse Crunch after he was sent down. With 7 points, his first 23 with the Lightning. A drive into the zone, deflected off Conley, and the play whistled down as the Oilers beat the puck into the zone. Tampa Waterfront 2020 is America's first crowdsourced neighborhood. We want to hear from you. Visit TampaWaterfront2020.com and let us know what you want to see in your new waterfront community. This game up. All starts it in. Nowak on the call. Offside again.
I'll tell you what, a lot of their rushes have been really killed by offsides, Edmonton. They have just been so quick to chance on that blue line, and that's pretty much a no-no.
Todd Nelson did a great job in Oklahoma City. A couple of Western Conference final berths there in the American Hockey League. And as much as the parent team has struggled, he really did a great job over a 5-year span as the head coach of the Barons. And now we got a whistle at the Edmonton line.
I think the puck was deflected into the Edmonton net. Pardon me, bench. Look at all the coaches they've had. They've had a number of them since 2000. He's the sixth coach.
Tyler Johnson is tried, deflected behind the net. Everly trying to pick it up. However, it's held in by Garrison. Knocked down. Here's Schuster winding, shooting, slowed down by Nugent Hopkins. Broke his stick. Throw back. Out in front. Johnson was stopped. Point blank there by Scrivens on the Kucherov setup. Johnson has it back, firing it to the point. Garrison to Schuster. Barely reached back to keep it in the zone. Around to Palat. Garrison the shot. He'll send it wide. Tyler Johnson getting to it. Kucherov on the try, and it was just sticked away. Nugent Hopkins able to get another stick. As Everly turning in that corner. The pass out for Hall. He'll bring it to center. Schuster. Bring it back off Garrison. Boyle takes it. Warren tried to shovel it ahead. Here comes Boyle. Tough package to stop down those boards at 6'7", 244. Brown upended on the hip check there by Derek Roy. Couple of welterweights meeting there as Boyle will play it back in. Scrivens chops it off the corner glass. Comes down to Killorn. Out of Brown. Boyle well covered by Schultz. Nesterov keeps the play down low. Swings around the net, shooting, and it's off the stick and wide. Killorn takes it. He'll let it wrist. And missed the net. Here's Strawman playing it back down the boards. Picked up by Boyle. Killorn punches it along. Pouliot can't get it out. Using the glass to get it to center in the second try. Nesterov right there. And it's Killorn back into Anton Strawman. Skims it to the far corner and Brown. Back to Boyle. Double team. Out to the point. Barberio's on. His shot blocked by Gordon. Killorn still on for the Lightning now as Barberio keeps it down low. The Lightning will change up front. Callahan coming on with Filppula and Stamkos. Couple of shifts together for this trio. Ference lobs it off the boards and back down the ice. And now it's icing against Edmonton.
Well, this is what they needed a lot more of in that first 40 minutes. And what happens, it really tires that unit out there that's been there for a while. They're just trying to get that puck out quick, softly as possible. They're tied at this point. They want to get that point on the road. Right now, Lightning are very quick to the puck. That's something like we expected, Rick, in the first and second period.
As Paul has pointed out, Oilers have knocked off some pretty good teams recently as Scrivens makes the save on Callahan there. Lightning have been on the road mostly, playing 6 of their last 7 games. The only game against the Sabres, which they pulled out of the fire in the third period there here at Amalie Arena in that span. But, well, the old adage, getting your feet back on home ice after you've been on the road, perhaps factoring in as well that Edmonton playing a pretty solid game. The Lightning slowly rising to the challenge here in this third period. Here's Fraser, slips a check, feeds it, Lander shoots, save by Bishop. 8:26 to go in the third period. Still a ways to go with a score tied at 2.
Oilers, Bulls, all tied at 2 to bring you back into the third period. If you're waiting for tonight's Lightning Fan Rewards broadcast code, it is PLAY, P-L-A-Y. And earlier in the broadcast, we told you about the grand sweepstakes we have going on, lightningfanrewards.com. Well, right now we're pleased to also announce Checkers is joining Lightning Fan Rewards. Just click on the Checkers tab. You can win $25 packs for social media activity, like using hashtags or by checking into Checkers on Foursquare. Free food, free program for social media that doesn't cost you a thing. Free, 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 Rick and Chief. Gotta love that.
It's free, it's for us. Yeah. It doesn't really go, though, does it?
No. It's for me, 3.
Thanks, Kelly. Pass ahead, and Schultz got a stick on it to keep it away from Kucherov. Oilers back with a diving Matt Fraser, unable to track down Purcell's pass. Oh, young. And it is a sack by Kelly. He's got it. The first period's only goal scored by Benoit Pouliot, shorthanded. Steven Stamkos tied it 7 minutes into the second. Then Pouliot, with under a minute to go in the second period, scored out in front of the Lightning. Steven Stamkos tied it 7 minutes into the second. Then Pouliot, with under a minute to go, nothing with the first period's only. Baines steals the outlet. And here comes Nugent Hopkins in the zone. Lightning in front for the first time in this game. Trailed 1-0 with the first period. Baines steals the outlet. And here comes Nugent Hopkins in the zone. Lightning in front for the first time in this game. Trailed 1-0 with the first period's only goal scored by Benoit Pouliot, shorthanded. Steven Stamkos tied it 7 minutes into the second. Then Pouliot, with under a minute to go in the second period, scored out in front of the Lightning net on a power play. Andre Palat, first minute and a half of the third, tied it. And here's a try by Nemestikov that was spoiled by Petrie. You know, Andre at about the 12-minute mark here of this third period, providing the Lightning with their first margin as they're in front 3-2. Barrett's bumped there by Nemestikov, and Killorn trying to make a move to the net. Held in now by Paquette. Down to Nemestikov. He's taken down, and the Oilers head up ice with Derek Roy.
That's amazing. You don't have to hit anybody hard. You just have to knock them off stride, and Edmonton did a good job of it.
And Pouliot getting it on goal. Roy whacking away, trying to come up with a loose. It's fired toward the net, deflected away. And Johnson around for Mark Barberio. Palat digs along the board, supported by Boyle. He is on for that defensive zone draw. He has to remain on as the play still in the Lightning zone. Barberio trying to pry it loose. Does get it loose. Can't get it through the traffic. Garrison. And Purcell working to come up with it. Boyle spins to get it out. Lightning now and Kucherov on for Boyle. That line spending nearly its entire shift in the Lightning zone. Here's Garrison around for Palat. Playing it ahead to Johnson. They've got an opportunity. A 2-on-1. Kucherov cuts it. Shoots. Save by Scrivens. Rebound is left. And it's fired by Nikitin. Knocked down by Palat. Back up front to Kucherov. Misfires. Turns. Now shoots. And it's off the line. Well, they ended up in the tank for a 2-on-1 and a good tester on Ben Scrivens.
Well, that was a huge save by Scrivens. Lightning get that, it's almost game over.
Stamkos whistled into it.
I want is that it's at once has given him the 3-2.
Here comes Callahan 2-on-1. Stamkos with him. Stamkos out of his skates. Back to Callahan, and he just skated past the net. Didn't have time to get that one on goal. Defeated out in front, deflected. In the slot now, Filppula had it taken away by Hall. Back come the Oilers with Hall, Everly, and Nugent-Hopkins. Their three best offensive players. Here's a drive on goal. Bishop a stop on Schultz. Bed in front. And it comes back to Petrie. Petrie knocked down by Stamkos. Lightning going back on the attack with Filppula. Hangs on to it. Now joined by Schuster in the zone. Schuster with quite a crowd developing in front of the net. Filppula looks that way. Feeds it to Garrison. He'll play it around to Callahan. Sends it in front, and it's grabbed by Scrivens and covered up.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can see what we're talking about, Rick, but as soon as Edmonton goes, they get all four defensemen, probably almost five, and Lightning stole that puck in the neutral zone, and they went back on that 2-on-1, and they just couldn't control the puck long enough to...
Spain off the glass to center. Garrison lays it to the boards. Lifted out by Paquette. Nikita getting to it. Puck deflected in by Klinkhammer. And Bishop out to handle it. Around for Killorn. Boyle chipping it to the line. Controlled by the Oilers at center. Fed back for Klinkhammer. Trying to get set up behind the defense. Plays off. Around for Killorn. Boyle chipping it to the line. Controlled by the Oilers at center. Fed back for Klinkhammer, trying to get set up behind the defense. Plays offside, reaching for that pass with 5:01 to go in the third period. Lightning with 19 shots on goal, but they got 3 goals, 2 by Palat to tie and take the lead.
At tonight's Diamond Performance presented by Ackerman Jewelers, and it's Andre Palat's 2 goals here in the third period. That one there, his 10th of the year at 133, tied the game. And this one here, that top shelf, his 11th, has given him the 3-2 lead with just over 5 minutes to go in regulation. Actually, had 5 minutes to go, excuse me. Side of the puck.
8. Left bomb now for Pouliot. Roy back for Pouliot. Pass was in his skates. Playing it back to Derek Roy. And Kucherov with it. Spins it out through center ice. Oscar Klefbom back. Pass for Schultz. Stepping up. Barberio for the Lightning. Klefbom will take it. Yakupov. Well, the threat earlier in the game. Couple of great chances. A goal post. He tests Bishop coming down the middle there. Petrie had it worked away by Callahan. Can he slip in behind the defenseman? Petrie maintained his position pretty well. Here's Schuster down the boards to play it back in the attacking zone. Keith held it there by Callahan, is now up over 100 hits in the season. Nugent-Hopkins leading it. So Petrie with it. And it's taken away by Filppula. Guides it with one hand back to Garrison. He'll send it back down the boards. And it's taken by Nikita to keep it.
Yeah, they took that puck away, Filppula, and Lightning went in for a change.
Everly caught up to by Killorn. Shots 30-19 Edmonton. They outshot 29-15 in St. Louis their last game. And now Scrivens starting toward the bench. Hangs on. Schultz driving it. A save by Bishop. Played back down the boards. Reaching Hall. Now the extra attacker coming on for Edmonton with 1:40 to go in the third. Empty Edmonton net. And the puck is lifted down the ice. We'll get an icing called against the Lightning. They'll be unable to change. He can use it in the NHL. Bench. He'll look suddenly on goal. Getting it back to Nugent Hopkins. Ball now to Petrie. A one-time it off the side of the goal. Taken by Cedric Paquette, backed up by Everly. Now to Pouliot with both Edmonton goals. Working around to Hall. Out to Nugent Hopkins. Bobbles it, saves it. Petrie choking up on the stick to make sure he can get a piece of that pass. And gets it back in the hands of Everly. Petrie fakes the shot. Paquette went diving in front. Now the drive. That's blocked by Boyle. He'll chip it over the head of Petrie. The race is on. As that puck slows down, it's going to go wide. And Nugent Hopkins, because it was ice, got a ball on the crew in the game. Feeds it down, and he saw Boyle pulling it back. Strawman tied up. Puck is left in the circle. Oilers get to it. Schultz the wrist shot. Poked away by Boyle. Hall has it. Feeds it down to Nugent Hopkins. Shooting. It's blocked by Boyle. That's two big blocks for him. Nugent Hopkins trying to slip it by Schuster. That didn't work. Lightning have it. Boyle in control, looking to make a play. And the Oilers not approaching him, so he's able to kill a couple of more seconds. They wind it up with Derek Roy moving it ahead with 21 seconds to go. Played in by Bishop. He'll fire it off the glass. Knocked down. Kucherov reaching for it. Everly takes it. Back to Nugent Hopkins. 10 seconds to go. Schultz to Everly from the angle. Firing it. That was blocked by Anton Strawman. Poked free by Palat. Getting it out to center to Kucherov. Knocks it down. He's got control. And there's a hard. The Lightning come from behind to win this game. Hang on 3-2.
Boy, he really had to work for this win. And that man there, Andre Palat, 2 quick goals in the third period was a difference maker. I thought Bishop had a really good game as well. He came up with a number of solid saves to keep the Oilers off the board. Only a short-handed and a power play goal got by him. The Lightning hang on to the win.
Both those other goals by Benoit Pouliot. Edmonton 32 shots. Bishop 30 saves. The Lightning prolong the home ice winning streak to a season-long 6 consecutive games, every win by 1 goal.
Only a secondary dominance resolution.
Well, we'll go over to the visitor side and
This resolution, though, it's one of my favorite things in music. We're harmonizing a familiar melody within a piece. Notice how the melody here